Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. My name is Andy Wilson, and I'm your host today. My guest today is Jing Zhu. You will absolutely love her in just a few moments once you hear her phenomenal story and hear about what she has accomplished in her life. But Jeannie, welcome. We're so glad to have you on Doing Business in Bentonville podcast. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Andy. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for having me.
Oh, well, listen, Jeannie and I have known each other for a long time. We're going to get into that a bit and how I met you and your company. But before, she is going to share with you her incredible journey to America and where she was born and how her journey led her to do what she's doing today. It's an incredible story. Jeannie, let's jump into the story and you begin to share with our viewers and our audience about your journey to America.
All right. It's always feels like, when I look back, it's like yesterday, but it seems like from one side of the world to another. So I grew up in a very rural village in Shandong, China, without electricity and the basic amenity. My village is kind of like so remote. I feel like I was the first girl went to the high school. So in the village, in the traditional way, is the girls is really doesn't need education. They married early, and the boys is the head of the household, has a financial support, breadwinner for the family. So since I was very young, I was always like, why boy can do it, the girl cannot. So it's we have very limited resources at that time. You only can dream what with that limited the possibility. But it's like, I think my mother at that time is really wanted me to be a teacher. She saw that, like, that's the biggest dream for me is have that, profession to be respected, has a stable income. That would be my biggest dream and her biggest dream. So, but it's something in my head. There's always something. I feel something more, but I don't know what. Then that spark really came is I read this article about this young woman is also from the same background like me, from the village, and went to the south of China at that time. China starting opening up, and worked in a factory for a few years, and I started her own company. That's really that story is just give me this huge inspiration. Said, wow, a girl like her and it has the same background and can do that, can not only to have her dream, but also really can be supporting the family. So that's like my main, at that time I said I wanted to be like her. So that really led me to persuade my parents to go to the Beijing, to to feel like I needed to see more. I needed to see the world. I wanted to one day I wanted to own my own business. So then when I moved to Beijing, I started as a hotel maid. So it's the first time, you got to Beijing and you're looking at from, it's a huge transition for me from the village as like a tomboy. You climb the trees, you don't really see much, and then you go to the bustling Beijing, and it's, all the girls have some nice dresses, have some makeups. It's just like, I said, wow, that's a huge world for me. But every day when I clean the toilet, wipe the floor. I always thought, oh my God, how can I have my own business? So that led into, I want to have some skill. So I had this Adaptation certificate, found my second job as Adaptation in a medical spa. That led into, running a dry clean business. So fast forward, I had a chance to come to the United States when in my mid-20s. So when the first city I got to the United States, San Francisco. When I got here, it's totally. I remember when I turned on the TV the first day, I couldn't understand one word of it. I feel like I'm like in another planet. Then in order to learn English, so I found a job as a nanny to take care of the baby Olivia. So I always joking that was the best job I had because baby Olivia doesn't speak English either. So I think the main thing is that a confidence level when you get into a foreign land, you don't speak in that language. It's like that confidence is just literally went to the ground. So it's really difficult in the first a few years. But later, I always, what I wanted to be. I think that spark in me always, how I can start my own business in this foreign land. So I was inspired by, I bumped into a wedding when I came to New York in Central Park, and it is girly as I was. Oh my God, that wedding dress is so beautiful. So like I then starting looking at the wedding dress, and then I find it very one is just like her as Asian woman to start her business at 40. And it's just like, give me this such inspiration. Said, wow, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be her. So, it's also like a mirrored where I was from in Beijing, from that hotel maid, later starting the dry clean business. So here, I find my passion. I wanted to be a designer, but how? So in order to get in the education, I applied the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. And when I got there, they asked me the portfolio in order to get into a design major in the university. Honestly, I have no clue what a portfolio even means. How to spell the portfolio, pronounce portfolio at that time is a huge the bump. But then like, what does that mean? But anyway, I think I could at that time think that bar is way too high for me. Oh, you don't have the design background. You don't have that kind of, the preparation for this passion, for this dream. But I thought about it. I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to give a try. So I went to this, the art supply store on Canal Street in New York, and I bought all these paints, brushes, all the art supply. Working out my own portfolio, I submitted, and I got accepted. Well, I think it's really the huge, the boost, the confidence is, wow, I can be here. I can, I did this. So I think that 3 years in Fashion Institute of Technology, I really like a sponge, learned everything, the design. I did a lot of competition, win some competitions. So that's lead into, after graduation, I found a job in the home textile industry and worked there for a few years. Then started in 2008 during the financial crisis, have a 1-year-old baby, and on the verge to be a single mom. So that I thought I'm gonna start Lush Décor Home. That's how Lush Décor Home was born in 2008.
Okay, Jenny, this is an incredible story so far. I mean, it's incredible. Now, there for an audience, let's step back a moment. Now, here's this young girl that comes from China to San Francisco. Right, San Francisco, and then from there to New York. Those are not small cities to enter into the U.S. It's not rural. You come from rural. Now you're in a couple of the largest cities in the U.S. You don't speak the language, but yet it didn't stop you. Your passion, and you continued to go forward with your dream, and then your story about when you went to the Fast Institute, New York. You had to figure out how to do a profile, basically. All these struggles, so many people would have quit. So many people would have got discouraged. Okay. What kept you from becoming discouraged just so far the journey and keeping your dream and passion in front of you? How did you navigate that?
When I always like the dream, from that story is really hidden in me is like achieve the financial freedom, achieve the financial stability to change my family fate. That is really the initial, the drive.
Right.
But it's along the way, I feel like, the in the village for, until the high school, I think that experience in the village is really ingrained me with how to, create opportunity with that limited resources. Because, I remember when I was in the village, we don't have anything. If you don't have electricity, you really don't have much. And all our clothes was made by my mom. My grandma still have that very old wooden loom. And, she has this 3-inch the feet, because China has this tradition to wrap the feet into very small, the triangle shape. And when I was little, I have to go to the field. We grow our cotton, we pick the cotton, then we can like weave into. My grandma have all this old like handcraft, the loom. Then we weave the threads. Then she will getting on the loom to weave the fabric. So I used to play on the loom, with her, and it's really everything we created. All the stuff is from the menu, the hand. You find there's no about like how you has like abundant like resources for us. We have very limited resources, but I never felt in the village I was a poor or I was not having enough. I feel like I really had this nice childhood. I think that experience really helped me for the life later to get into the United States, how to go through the challenge. Is because like I always feel like that village prepared me to use how to see the opportunity with like this limited resources what I have. And you always have go to the applying for the Fashion Institute of Technology. Either you be scared, you say okay, I'm not enough, maybe I cannot do it, or you move forward. I think we always have a choice, either move forward or you still. And I feel like it's for me, it's just like that's definitely one of the biggest life experience I had is in the village, with that helped me to really shaped my resilience, the grades, in the United States to go through all this. It's part of it.
Well, it's remarkable, and what you've accomplished. Now, for all of our viewers and listeners, now we're going to get into 2008, and Denny mentioned her desire, her passion to launch her own company, and she's going to talk about that in just a moment. But as we step back for a moment, I want us to really not lose this emotion and passion that we're hearing from Jenny, because we all want to take that in. No matter what obstacle that you may be facing today, from our viewers and our listeners, Jeannie's story, she has continued to inspire and lift up and move forward in her desire. So now we're launched a business in the 2008, one of the worst crises we've had in our country. I remember it clearly in 2008 when all of that, when the stock market crashed and all that. So here we are with a young woman, with a single parent young woman, beginning her first business in 2008, again, against all difficult obstacles. So, Jenny, what inspired you to go forward now after that?
So during my working in this company, I was in the product development department, and that I just saw is my initial dream. Actually went to FIT. I wanted to be a fashion designer. But when I got there, the fashion major was full. They said, okay, they still have home textile. Design major was open. So sort of like, I love textile. That's remind my grandma is starting when we were little, with
Right.
fabric. I thought of this fascinating. Yeah, I saw that's up, I got into the home textile surface design. So, but when I look at it at that time, that's not a very, in the home textile field in the market, it's not very exciting, the design, the style there, especially online at that time. So I noticed this gap because I always have that fashion, wanted to be a fashion designer in me. So I always draw a lot of inspiration from the fashion. So that's kind of, I see there's a void of how we can create this, the stylish with aesthetic and with exciting design in the home textile sectors. So that's, the need to meet my passion for fashion in home. So I think I call it Lush, at that time of Triangle Home Fashions. Now it's Lush Décor Home. But that fashion is the passion for me to, to offer that kind of like a stylish, the design, infuse the fashion inspiration in at home. That's how I really excited wanted to be. I think I can do not just, design a product. I think I can find that I can be doing a better in the business to create the Lush Décor Home. That's how Lush Décor Home was born.
Well, okay. So now we have your business. You're up and going on it. And I know, again, we've already talked about the timing of 2008, the financial crisis. So what were your biggest challenges that you faced launching a business now?
Mm-hmm.
What were some of those? Share that with our viewers and listeners. So, because I know that they're leaning in and they're listening and they're watching and like, okay, this woman is, she is inspiring me to do more. And, but let's continue to talk about those challenges.
So I think there's so many. It's jumping out of my head is I think the first thing, the biggest challenge is the confidence, the self-doubt. as immigrants, first generation immigrant coming here with the language barrier, the culture barrier. So that is really the self-doubt is one of the biggest challenge, I think, for me. And to start the business, I remember, when I go to the meeting, I have to be present, to all this management team. When you speak that kind of like, I call it a Chinglish, is just how you can articulate your, the passion, everything into your presentation is really the biggest, the obstacle for me is how I can have my confidence to really show off my passion. I think that's the one biggest challenge. So what I learned is like, from is if you just like pretending, to correct your grammar, to, try to speak something perfectly English, sometimes it doesn't really authentically me. So what I did is like I later slowly learned, no matter what kind of a broken English I have, if I can show my passion, show authentically me, I think people can get it. So that's kind of like, starting after a few years, took me a long time to get in that confidence, to be who I am. I always say I started this business is not because I'm fearless. It's because I was scared, but I made a decision to move forward anyway. So that's one of that. Is another thing is, I think in the beginning, when I work with a partnership, working with a partner is really difficult for me because we didn't really, I don't have the experience how to set, framework, it's almost like a handshake, kind of like, oh, let's do it. So is what happened is created like, after a year, the partner dispute, everything is like, lead into, I got escorted to, I was fired from my own company by my partner and literally escorted by police to, to out of the business. And at that time, it's really difficult. Is overnight, my dream, even be whether I would be able to stay in the United States has become a problem, become a question. So I remember at that time at night, I looking at my son was 2 years old, and I watched this, stare at the ceiling and say, where am I going this? Is, my partner threatened me to deport me or this or that. It's just like that despair has, in the darkest place. I think is really, really struggling. I think for a lot of immigrants, even now, even like, immigrant entrepreneur, it's not you just like handling your business. It's how you really have created stability of a home ground. I think that's the second thing, I think, for me, the challenge. I think another one example is a burnout. A lot of entrepreneur, when you founded the business, you literally like a jack or trade and you do everything. You think it's like, that's how most of the founders started the business. You wanted to make sure, control everything to getting in the one direction, move fast, agile, all this different in the beginning process of it. But once you grow, and is really, I think the burnout is one of the biggest issue or challenge for the entrepreneurs, when they scale the business. I was one of them. So during that period is how I learned how to become, from a boss to be a leader, how to not just delegate, how to elevate. It's just, this is just a few of the huge challenges I been through.
Wow. Okay. And as great leaders go through those challenges. They persevere through them. They find ways to improve themselves, communicate, lead, manage. And you were not only you were learning all of those things along launching a new business, surrounding yourself with a team, and another struggle, I will call it, another struggle of being fired from your company, if you will, and you had to overcome that obstacle also. So it's just like life was you had this wonderful dream, but you didn't give up, Jenny. And I'm so inspired by you. You never stopped, no matter what life threw at you. You kept going. You persevered. So now, such incredible journey so far, and we're just into this journey, not very far into this journey. So let's talk about your company for a moment, because your company is phenomenal. I've been to your office and showroom. I had the privilege to meet you there. I've seen your products. I own some of your products in my home, so you have wonderful products. And I again, let's share with us about some of the products, and then how do we find those great products too? We want to know that.
So, Lush Décor, we carry the cross category of the product, like bedding, draperies, decorative pillow, and is all the anything associated with textile products at home. So it's really like we are not just like selling the product. It's more we help our customer to curate the different look, whether you're looking for a farmhouse, whether you're looking for a elegant coastal or bohemian or timeless. I think it is like we have something to really suit every taste with that style. So our mission is to make luxury accessible. We believe everyone deserves to live in a home that inspire and uplift them. So that's why we committed to provide the product that just not for the quality and not just for the style, but also reflected like individuality and the personality of our customer. So you can find our product on our website, lushdecor.com. And also you can find it a lot on Amazon, the Wayfair, all the different, the e-commerce marketplace.
Right. Okay. So we do, and I will tell you, her products is phenomenal. You got to check them out, and we'll make sure we have that website on our website too. Doing Business in Bentonville, where all of this will be, and articles about her company. Now, again, if you recently joined us, my guest today is Jing Zhu. She's talking about her life. It's an incredible story, and now that we've talked about her life, we've talked about her obstacles that she has faced and the challenges and how she's overcome them and persevered through those. And now we're talking about this great company, Lush Décor. And now, so Jenny, once you got going, you realized that, okay, I want to grow more. I need more investment. I have my dream is to own my own company and launch my own company, but now let's do bigger things together. So talk to us about navigating the world of private equity. That may just like make some people like, oh my goodness, how would I do that? But again, your second step into becoming your dream a reality is you needed to grow. So what led you to seek out a private equity firm?
So it's very interesting. Actually, is not in the beginning I intentionally looking for private equity. So in 2016, the company is growing and we are very profitable as that, it's all self-funded. And we starting really establish Lush Décor brand for, the whole e-commerce marketplace. We have our own ERP system. We have our dropship operation. And so then is the one of the biggest challenge I had is this burnout. I got so burnout because I feel like I was not just working in the business, on the business, and day in, day out. Is getting to that crossroad is like there's so much opportunity there, but I just feel like, okay, in order to get into the next level, you need to invest in more. You need to invest in bigger warehouse. You need to get in more talent. So I think I reached to a wall how to really to grow myself as personally and professionally. So I really didn't know how at that time. I just know I burned out and knew, I hit a wall. So, but it's like I was kind of like in the struggling period, like a lot of like business owner when they wanted to scale. So it's by accident I started getting some emails or some solicitations. Say, do you want to sell your business? So I know nothing about a private equity at that time. So I bumped into this email. I just did a search. I realized this is one of the biggest private equity firm in Boston. So we started the communication. I gave them the numbers. So I met their managing partner. So it's really when we started talking, he started giving me this kind of evaluation. So it's really giving me this, wow, my business has lots of value. And not it's on the number and on the future. It's just that I can see that the potential. So that's kind of intrigued me saying, okay, I needed to look seriously on this. So when I started, I realized, also he realized I'm not equipped to really, kind of just myself to get into working with the private equity because there's so many the big terminology of this and there's so many different calculations. I just feel it's a little overwhelming for me. And he recommended somebody to represent me as investment banker. So I interviewed one of them, and it's I just feel I'm not trusted because when you think about an investment banker, it really is like an agent. They help you selling the business, and then they get this commission. I feel like I needed to finding somebody to educate myself to know what is the in and out of this private equity firm because I was not ready to selling my business. I really wanted to find a partner to grow the business. So what I did is to really, interviewed some investment banker. That's how I found Chuck, who is very interesting. I told him, I said, okay, I'm not ready to make the deal to start selling the business yet. I really wanted to know how this work. Are you willing to, without any, is to say you're gonna get this deal? Are you willing to working with me? That, but there's with one condition is I will make a decision when I wanted to go out to go to the market, or everything is a final say. I feel comfortable to make that decision. So that's how we started working together, and so we worked for a whole year. And he drove to. We meet in one place called Stego Coffee, and every week for a whole year. I literally had my mini MBA on the private equity, how, what is it in and out. That's the whole, I think the learning is really for me to feel comfortable to getting into the private equity world. Well, when I starting to approach the process is really, I feel like the key thing is you have to find the trusted investment banker and at your own timeline. That's so important. Another thing I feel like when you working with a private equity is, I don't know, Andy, you know a lot of entrepreneurs in this, with a private equity is really appalling in how bad the reputation the private equity in the entrepreneurial world. Because I remember when I talked to someone, I say, I have I exit partially my business. I'm working with a private equity partner. The look in their face, they just feel, oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. That must be horrible. That's kind of the feel. And I think, I had a really positive partnership with my partner. It's very, if you ask me what advice I can give to entrepreneurs, on this with a private equity partnership, I think what I really learned is you just have to have a clarity on what do you really want? What do you really want to achieve on your personal or business goal? And what is when you have a partner in, right? You have to, what is really you willing to give and what do you want to take? So it's like a marriage, right? The partner, you have to find somebody they can share your value, they can share your vision if you still wanted to grow together.
I think, Jenny, that is such great advice and wisdom for people that are seeking out a private equity firm at this point, if they're at this level to where you were, at this crossroads, if you will. And I think you're right. I think, just the clarity of it's like you said, is critical to really lean into that. And then, to share the vision that you had for your organization. Both of your organization and the private equity have to have that same vision, that same mindset, that same drive. And so wonderful advice, Jenny, wonderful advice for entrepreneurs that have reached a point. In fact, I actually had a conversation this morning with an entrepreneur friend of mine, and that's exactly what he's doing. And I am now going to call him back and say, I've got some advice for you. And it's come from a very, very smart individual. So I'm going to do that. So wonderful. Okay, Jenny, here's where we are. You're doing great. This is so good. I mean, you're doing great. So are you still okay that we can move to transitioning to chairwoman of the board? You okay staying on doing that?
Yeah, of course. I think probably on the private equity, because I saw the question you and Jai talking about is like, what is some of the key lessons learned? It's very simple, really. I feel like, I talking to a lot of entrepreneurs and mentoring a lot of women entrepreneurs too. See how you build this successful relationship with the private equity partners. I feel like I think there's a few things is important. I think it's almost like one of the key lessons learned is the clear communication, because it's as same as a family. If you holding something you don't like, what are they doing? If you don't articulate, communicate your feelings, telling them what is you feel, what make you feel good or bad, they will never know. I think that's why the communication is so important, and is has to have continued communication. If, for example, if I see something that my private equity partner really step too much into the business, or, is really have the pressure is for my team, they cannot do their work, or they asking too many reports, I would telling them, I said, hey guys, it's way too much. Our goal is to grow the business. You need to have the team run the business, not just to continue wasting time to give you report. So they respect that. So they step back, and, that's a kind of the communication, because a lot of times, a lot of the entrepreneurs, oh my God, because my, PE partner wanted this, wanted that, is suddenly accounting has to working on a report, operation working on a report. It's literally you spend most of the time try to catering the PE partner versus just focus on grow the business. Is if they don't telling the partner, that's gonna holding all this. The team gonna get frustrated. You're gonna feel like, resentment. It's just, I see so many times is that just this kind of the problem happen is like, it's really a simple solution, has this clear communication as a leader, as a partner. And also another thing is transparency, because if the private equity gave you the authority to run the business, you needed to make sure to have the transparency to let them feel, comfortable. As if you want to hiding something, this or that, it's not gonna be aligned. The third is really the trust. I think it's like that trust is so important. It's like they have to, when I started to pick this current partner, I really felt I can trust them to let me to do my job as a CEO at the time. But it's also, in the meantime, they can trust me. They knew my solely goal is to really to build this company stronger and to make the business thrive. So that's kind of like the trust in between. So it's kind of critical from the beginning to go through all this, collaborative relationship, with aligned goals and expectations.
Okay, great. We'll make sure we add all that to that. It's great. Again, Jenny, great points. That's great. Are you? We won't put this on, but are you still with TCP?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. All right. Good. I thought you were. Mm-hmm. That's good. I heard from Ken recently. He said, and so he told me about you. Okay. We're going to transition now, Jeannie, to talk about chairwoman. Okay, the transition to the chairwoman. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let me set this up, and then we'll dive into that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, everyone. Again, what a phenomenal advice from Jeannie about pursuing and navigating the world of private equity. Again, she came back and she shared her feelings about that, her learnings from that, and our big takeaway is developing that trust that Jeannie has developed with her private equity firm, and she moved forward. I love the point you said. I have to underline this other point you said, Jeannie, is that you have to let the team run the business. Mm-hmm. And you were firm. I'm sure you were very firm with that, and your team respected you even more because you allowed that you stood up for your team and said you got to run the business team. So that's wonderful. So thank you, Jeannie, again for that clarity. Thank you for the advice. Now, Jeannie, here we are, 2008. We talked about it. You shared about launching your company, and in 2016, you wanted to grow your company more. So what we're going to talk about next is a transitioning in your life, in your business, and that you have nurtured and grown. So now, Jeannie, talk about transitioning to the chairwoman of the board from the CEO. Share that journey with us, please.
So, when the business, as a business founder, when you founded the business, scale the business, for us from 0 to 100 million, I think when you're going through the different stage of the company, you need a different leadership, you need a different skill, talented people. So I think when, in the last couple of years, I'm starting really thinking about what is the best for the company. is because I knew my strengths. I knew, also my weakness. So feels like, for Lush Décor to go into the next sector, we definitely needed a different skill set to stay ahead of, the business, our competitor, and how to, especially in today, how to really be disruptive in the business. Because in our industry, I remember in 2009 when we started the e-commerce marketplace at that time, and then there's so many people in our industry said that's not possible. You cannot to have your own brand, to design your own the line, and to put it in your own inventory, to drop ship one piece at a time. That's never gonna work. That business model doesn't work. But we made it work. We made it really work very, very well. But it's like, in the last few years, I have been thinking, I think it's is personally after this private equity, that my PE partner grew in, I really invest a lot on my personal side. One is just continued learning to open my horizon. So I joined, the different organization like Young President Organization, the YPO, and the Women President Organization, WPO, and also went to Harvard, had this, 3 years program as owner president management program. That all of this learning is really helping me to, grow from a boss to a leader, to how to really, to instead of work in the business, to work on the business. So that's, I'm being, I had some mentors and starting to talking the next step of the company. So really one of the big target or initiative for me is to finding my succession plan. My succession plan is not means like I'm gonna be step back. I'm not gonna do anything anymore. It's really to find somebody can make my weakness to compromise what I'm missing. So it's almost like finding a partner to getting our business to the next level. So, it's so fortunate for me is I finding some mentor. They already did. They are like 5 years ahead of me. They had the business, they exited, they had a succession plan. They are going to the next level. How they transitioned from the, CEO, founder to a chair person. So, that's gave me a lot of confidence and a lot of comfort level, because as the women, as the entrepreneur, it's really hard for a lot of people to, because this is the business as your baby. You started, from like beginning, how you go through all these challenges is really one of the biggest challenge. How you can step aside to let your team, and to really take a lot of initiative to drive forward. So, and that's how I found Paula. So Paula is so funny. We got a clicked from the beginning. It's not because she has such this amazing, the journey and experience is like, especially working in the digital and the data and AI is everything is what is this industry right now is like, forge ahead of the, the technology wise, but, also two of us, our journey is so similar. She is from rural like village in Italy. I was from China. We used to joking I'm usually when I was little, I heard my goats. I have like a goats. That's my responsibility. I have to feed them and herd them too. But she was doing like the the cows. So it's like that's two girls from the village in a different world. And we got in together. Is it just that drive? What do we want to achieve? It's not just really to impress me is like she's not just for to lead in the business to make business successful. And also I think our mission is so similar. We wanted to inspire. We wanted to, is kind of this two force together. We wanted to prove to the whole world how this two goes from the village, how this two first generation immigrant, how these two women leaders can not just dream and can achieve, can leading a business, not just make the business thrive, but how to have a message to the millions of the girls there or women leaders there. We can work in together and we can make impossible possible. So that's so much exciting things. Is beyond the business. I feel like, for me to partner with her. So it's a learning process, but I just cannot find a better person.
Well, I would tell you, when I found out about her, I checked her out, her LinkedIn out, and great job, Jenny. Great job. Unbelievable. As you have already mentioned, your successor, what a phenomenal candidate you have, or individual you have definitely have brought on board. I love the story about it takes a village now. And so what we want to do is this village that you have at Lush Décor. What does the chairwoman envision? What's the role of a chairwoman, and what are you going to envision for the future of your great company? Where's it going?
Right. So from the beginning, I wanted to have this. What kind of the product, the quality? What is Lush Décor represent? The whether it's from the style, whether it's from the customer experience, whether it's from the business growth. I think it's really starting evolving into we are not just selling a product. My vision for Lush Décor is to empower the women's and the girls there through the Lush Décor journeys, through the Lush Décor stories, through the Lush Décor product, to have a message to telling all these girls and women, say, no matter where you come from, no matter what a background you have, if you dream, and we all can achieve. This is just that I feel is not just transactional, to ship one product at home. I want the people, our customer, all the girls, boys, or millions customer there, when they hold a Lush Décor product, it's not just a beautiful product. There's a meaning in them. It's a meaning to empower and to inspire. That's my vision.
Wow. I think, Jenny, that you're just getting started.
I'm excited.
You have the foundation now to really have a huge impact on the world, have a huge impact on women, a huge impact on business, and I believe you will change the world and make this world a much better place because of what you have described today for us, your journey. Jenny, a phenomenal journey, and you're just getting started. I can't wait to follow you, to watch what you will do in this world, and through your company, through the people that you will impact. You've already impacted, but you're just getting started, Jenny. Thank you, Jing Zhu. What a wonderful story. And we have so much more to tell, and we will tell it all here at Doing Business in Bentonville. Jenny, what a great time.